As somebody that helps organizations and universities amplify a culture of connection, belonging, and trust, I wanted to unpack and film a video on the question of why is it important to build trust with customers? And so really excited to be joining you in this video to share an insanely hilarious and sort of epic example of why it's so important. And also I'll offer you the short answer now in case you don't have the attention span of a goldfish like me sometimes. It's important to build trust with customers because if you don't, someone else will. So I'll share an insane example of where that happened, and then also unpack some really interesting data and stats that will not only convince you, but perhaps your boss and the people that work around you on why it's important to build trust with customers. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so what I'd love to do is take you on a little bit of an internet journey. So let's shrink me down and bring up Google. I'm imagining that you've all heard the phrase know, like, and trust, right? People who do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And one quick Google search, you could stop watching this video and pick up, let's see, 1,210,000,000 results on articles, ideas that are advocating for this idea. So this is not a novel concept. What I hope to do is to dive into the data and give you a really concrete example that you can take and apply into your own context with your own, whether they be business or students or whoever it is that are in your sphere. Before I get into data, just check out this crazy example where Burger King looked at all the places that McDonald's had broken trust with customers and took it upon themselves to reply. So let's just watch this together for a moment. All right, here we go. Burger King in Denmark. By the way, I'm not advocating for Burger King or McDonald's. I couldn't actually care less. I try to avoid them when I can, although I'm a sucker for some chicken nuggets once in a while. So check this out. Burger King hops on, finds replies on McDonald's page, and takes the liberty to reply from their Burger King account. This is just golden, right? The amount of trust that happens when, especially, and you know, this is an example. If you're watching this, you may not be a part of a really big brand, although you might. And so the idea here is trust is built through conversation. When we've reached out to a brand and we don't get a reply, that's a huge break in trust. So appreciating that concept, that video, take that idea and let's unpack some of the data behind it. So why is it important to build trust with customers? Let's unpack a little bit of data. So a while ago, because my work is focused around this idea of amplifying connection and trust within organizations, we put together an article with compiling a whole bunch of data. And so you can access it if you want to go to wean.me/free. It'll bring up a whole bunch of resources on our page and you can find this article and the data within it. But I would say it's pretty costly to not be thinking about trust. So internally, right, 49% of people find that there's a trust gap with the people that they work with. Trust creates shortcuts for better communication. It reduces our prejudice and implicit bias. Fosters a happy workplace. This is the interesting one. 47% higher returns in companies that have a culture of trust and effective communication. 47% higher returns. So that's, and obviously, you know, that number is going to vary based on your particular venture aim context. But just say, like, even if it's 10%, it makes a huge difference. Sometimes I like to think about this when you're sitting in a pharmacy, let's say CVS, for example, and you're picking between Tylenol and CVS brand acetaminophen, or Advil and CVS brand ibuprofen. When you're looking and comparing those two, they're the exact same thing. And yet people, sometimes myself included, even though I can be kind of cheap, we'll pick the brand name because there's some sort of trust in Tylenol, Advil, as opposed to that generic brand. And so you can see right there, right, that's part of the higher returns. If there's trust in your brand, people will not only spend more, but they'll be more likely to choose you over somebody else sitting on the shelf, metaphorically or literally sitting on the shelf right next to your brand. Cool, so you can unpack, if you want to go to this article, wein.me/free, a whole bunch of other benefits associated with trust. This is a really good article to send to your boss if you're trying to build some efforts around creating and amplifying trust in your own environment. Will and I did put a book together called Ask Powerful Questions, Create Conversations That Matter, and it is largely focused around how do I build and amplify relationships of trust with people. So I think we're maybe bought into the why behind building trust with customers. How? There are lots of ways. This video is not intended to cover lots of ways, but I do want to give you one that I found really, really meaningful for me in my own business and own practice to be able to build trust with customers. And if we can jump back to Loom, if you haven't heard of this tool, it's an amazing, amazing tool to be able to record and send videos over email really easily. And so when I'm working with customers, right, I recently sent a message to Hazel. I'm facilitating a big virtual conference for Agile Arizona and doing a workshop for Baker Tilly, and recently sent 100 toolkits to leaders within State Farm. And so I will record a video to create some connection before content personalized to either that group or that person. If you reach out on our website, I will send people a video. If you click get in touch, if you see like, ooh, we want to bring Chad in to speak at a virtual conference or something like that, if you reach out, bandwidth assuming, either Eliza, my assistant, will happily respond, or as whenever I have the time to, because I think that building trust with customers is so important, I will take the time to personally record a Loom video and send it in an email to you. It makes a huge difference when you fill out a contact form. So you like jump to a website, fill out get in touch, and you type in like blah, 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 and you hit submit. We forget sometimes that those contact forms go to human beings. And so this is such an amazing opportunity to be able to build trust and rapport, for me to send back a video saying, hey, Sam, I'm really glad to hear from you. Hearing this context, I'm available on this date, looking forward to working together, right? That relationship of trust. So that sending a personalized video to every single person you meet with may not be possible, but the idea is ask yourself the question, how can I build a relationship of trust with a customer at every single touch point that I'm meeting with them at? Because if at any touch point you break trust, you don't respond, the product disappoints, the service disappoints, and you don't deal with that, it's going to break trust, and not only will it prevent them from coming back from you, but they'll be very happy to tell all of their friends not to come back to you as well. Hopefully the ideas in this video, the data in this video helped you amplify trust. If you want more resources, check out the links below. We have a whole bunch of resources to help create more trust internally and externally. Super lovely spending some cyberspace with you. Have an awesome day.